Hello everyone. Before we jump into today's story, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to leave a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is right now, because that way, YouTube will keep showing you more stories just like this one. Alright, sit back, relax, turn down the lights if you dare. And now, let's begin. The first thing that tipped me off was the silence. I don't mean the usual kind you get on night patrol. I'm used to that. I've done this job long enough to get comfortable with stillness. But this was deeper, like the land itself had muted. No bugs, no wind, not even the low hum of power lines. Just the crunch of my boots on frostbitten grass and my own breathing in the dark. Dispatch had sent me out to check on a report of someone laying in the east field off County 6, said a trucker spotted it from the road. Could be a drunk passed out, they said. Maybe a hunter got hurt. I remember saying, copy that, like it was nothing. Just another welfare check. It was around 2:30 a.m., cold as hell, and my breath fogged in front of me in these short, tight bursts. The field looked endless, flat, dark, half frozen, ringed by a busted barbed wire fence and a thin line of trees far out. My flashlight barely cut through it. About 30 yards in, I saw it. A shape. Too still. Too solid against the frost. Human-sized, curled up on its side like it had fallen there and never bothered to get back up. I called out, "Hey, Sheriff's Department, you okay?" And started walking faster. No response. As I got closer, I slowed down. My flashlight caught the edges of a flannel sleeve, jeans, boots. Definitely a person. But something was wrong. There were no tracks. Not around them, not behind them. Just the impression of their body lying in that tall, dead grass. I squatted down and felt my stomach twist. It was a man, pale, eyes open. But they were glassy, not just lifeless, almost like they weren't his. Like they didn't belong in his face. He had a twisted, frozen expression. Not fear, not pain. Surprised. Like whatever happened, he hadn't expected it at all. I reached for his wrist. Cold as ice. No pulse. Radioed it in. County 4 to dispatch. I've got a confirmed DOA, male, late 30s, no ID on site. Need crime scene and coroner out here. Then I stood up, swept the field with my light again. Still that crushing silence. I felt exposed, like something was watching me from the tree line, but I couldn't see anything. The weirdest part? His clothes weren't dirty. Not like someone who collapsed out here or got dumped. No mud, no tears. No blood. It was like he had been placed here. Carefully. I stayed near the body, waiting on backup. Time moved weird. My watch said 15 minutes passed, but it felt like an hour. Then my radio hissed and died. Total static. I tapped it. Checked the battery, nothing. County 4 to dispatch, come back. I tried again, dead air. That's when I noticed the cold. Not normal cold. Not winter cold. This was different. The air felt thick, like I had stepped into a freezer with no walls. My skin tightened. My ears started ringing. And I realized the body was warm now. I knelt again. Pressed 2 fingers to his neck. Still no pulse. But his skin was warm to the touch. Warmer than mine. That's not supposed to happen. I stared at him, and I swear on my badge, his mouth moved. Not a lot. Just a twitch. Like a shiver. But it moved. I jumped back so hard I landed on my ass in the frozen grass. My flashlight flew out of my hand and rolled a few feet away. The beam spinning across the field in jerky circles. When I crawled over to grab it, it cut out, just blinked and died. The field went pitch black. I stayed crouched, trying to get my bearings, heart hammering so loud I couldn't hear anything else. I didn't even want to turn around. I just knew if I did, I'd see something standing right behind me, but I had to look. I turned slowly. Nothing. Just the shape of the body, still curled on the ground. Still lifeless, except now his head was turned, facing me. It had been on its side before. I was sure of it. Now he was on his back, mouth slightly open, and eyes locked on me. That's when I saw it. Behind him, no more than 6 feet away, the grass was crushed down. Like someone had knelt there. Large, deep impressions in the frost. Hands and knees. Like something had been watching me examine the body, or worse. Waiting for me to look away, I stood up slowly, my boots sliding a little. My breath was coming too fast, frosting out of me in panicked bursts. I backed away from the body. One step, then another. That's when the body twitched again. This time I saw it. The fingers. They curled just slightly. Enough to scrape the frost. And that's when the radio crackled back to life, just for a second. With a voice that wasn't dispatched. It sounded like me. Don't run. I froze. Hearing your own voice come through a dead radio in the middle of an empty field at 3 in the morning does something to you. It hits somewhere deep, a place past fear, past logic, a place where your body just forgets what to do. The radio went silent again, completely dead, like it had been before. But the echo of my voice, kept bouncing around inside my head. Don't run. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until my chest burned. The field around me felt smaller, like the dark was pressing in. I forced myself to back up another few steps, eyes locked on the body. The man was still, too still. And that made me even more aware of the ground around him. Those impressions in the frost. Knees, hands. Someone had been there. Someone had leaned right over him. Someone had been close enough to touch me when I was kneeling at the body. I swallowed and tried the radio again. County 4 to dispatch, do you copy? Nothing. But this time, I heard something else. Grass shifting. Not loud, not steady. More. Like someone dragging their fingers through it. Slow, deliberate. It came from behind me. I spun around so fast I almost twisted my ankle. My flashlight still wouldn't turn on, so all I had was the weak glow of my patrol car headlights way back on the road, barely reaching the first few feet of the field. I couldn't see anything, but I could hear it. The grass, moving. Closer. Hello. My voice cracked like a teenager. Sheriff's Department. Identify yourself. The sound stopped. And then from the dark, just far enough that I couldn't see the face, something whispered, "You shouldn't be out here." I stumbled backward, heart racing so hard it made my vision pulse. The voice didn't sound quite human, not distorted, just wrong, like someone trying too hard to sound calm. "Show yourself." I shouted, even though I absolutely did not want that. Nothing moved, until something did, but behind me again, I whipped. Around. The body was gone. Just gone. An empty patch of crushed grass, where he'd been seconds before. Jesus Christ. I couldn't even finish the whisper. My breath fogged out fast and frantic. Then something brushed past my leg. I jumped so hard I lost my footing and hit the ground. My palms stung from the cold, and the earth felt too soft, like something was shifting underneath it. I scrambled up and aimed myself toward the patrol car's headlights. They looked impossibly far away, like they'd moved. Like the field had stretched. That's when the light flickered. Once. Twice. Then cut out entirely. Dark. Total dark. Like someone dropped a curtain over the world. I heard footsteps behind me, running this time. Fast. Heavy. The kind of sound that makes your stomach drop because you know no human should be able to move that quietly and that quickly. Bolted. I don't remember deciding to run. My legs just moved. Every breath hurt. The air felt thick like smoke, even though there was no smell. The silence was so sharp it made my ears ring. "Don't run." The voice, mine again, whispered from the radio on my shoulder. But I kept running. I didn't dare look behind me, but I could hear whatever it was. Right there. Pacing me. Just out of view. The grass whipped and snapped beside me, as though something huge was cutting through it. I focused on the faint outline of my patrol car, barely visible in the dark. I hit the dirt road, nearly slipped, caught myself, sprinted harder. My hands fumbled for the door handle, missed once, missed twice. Something touched the back of my jacket, not grabbed, just touched. Like fingertips. I tore the door open and threw myself inside, locking it immediately. My hands shook as I tried to start the engine. Nothing. The car didn't even click. Headlights stayed dead. Radio stayed dead. But the interior lights flickered on and off, fast and frantic, like someone was messing with the wiring. Then the car stopped shaking. Everything went still. Too still. I lifted my head. Something stood in front of the patrol car. Just outside the reach of the dying dashboard glow. I couldn't see its face, could barely see its outline, but it was tall. Taller than any person should be. It tilted its head, slow and unnatural. Then it stepped forward, just enough for the light to catch its face. It was the man from the field. But not. His eyes were wrong. They looked borrowed. Like they'd been put there by someone who'd never seen a real human face up close. And his mouth, frozen in that twisted, surprised expression, began to move. Slow, like he was remembering how. "You found me," he whispered. Except the voice wasn't his. It was dispatch. And then, with a sickening snap, his head jerked to the side, like someone yanked it with invisible strings. He wasn't talking anymore, but something else was, something behind him. I couldn't see it, but I knew it was there. I could feel it. Heavy. Wrong. Watching me through him. The dashboard lights flickered once, then died. The field went dark again. I don't remember getting out of the car. I don't remember driving away. All I remember is suddenly being back on the main road, miles from the field. The engine roaring like I'd floored it. Dispatch finally answered my call when I was already halfway back to town. They said they never received a call about a body in that field. Said no trucker had reported anything. Said no one else was out there tonight. I asked if anyone had tried contacting me earlier. A warning. A message. Anything. Dispatch swore they never spoke to me. But when I got back to the station and reviewed the body cam footage, it cut out the moment I reached the field. When it came back on for exactly 4 seconds, the camera was pointed at the dark tree line, and a voice, distorted, doubled, whispered right into the mic. "Found you." That's the last thing on the recording. That's why. I'm not going back out there. Not at night. Not alone. And not ever again. Because something in that field knows my voice. And every night since, I hear it whispering outside my window. The first red flag was how calm the woman sounded. Most domestic calls come in messy. Someone yelling in the background. A crying kid, broken plates, adrenaline. But this one? It was almost rehearsed. "He's back," she said, voice low but steady. "He's trying to come inside. Please hurry." I asked for the address. She gave it without hesitation. A rural trailer park off Route 17. One of those half-abandoned strips where the power flickers if someone sneezes too hard. We'd had a few noise complaints from that area over the years. Meth busts. Petty theft. Nothing too wild. The woman didn't sound scared. She sounded tired. Like this wasn't the first time. "Do you have any weapons in the house?" I asked, already pulling on my vest. "No," she said. "Just me. Name?" There was a pause. Then, "Darlene." "All right, Darlene. Stay inside, keep the doors locked, and don't engage with him. I'm en route." I radioed it in. Shift was light that night, just me and one other deputy covering this side of the county. She was already tied up on a drunk and disorderly 2 towns over. So it was just me heading out that way. No. Backup. Didn't feel like a big deal. It should have. The trailer was about 25 minutes out from the station. The roads got narrower the deeper and I drove, until it was just gravel, patchy trees, and long shadows. No streetlights. Just the soft red wash of my taillights in the rearview mirror and the distant hum of my own tires on loose dirt. The place was exactly what I expected. Rusted trailers, scattered trash, plastic Halloween decorations still out in late January. When I pulled up to the address, the porch light was on, barely flickering. The screen door hung crooked. I radioed in again. County 7 on scene. 10 to 97. No response. Dispatch, do you copy? Still nothing. That was the second red flag. I stepped out and adjusted my flashlight. The air was heavy, wet, like the ground hadn't dried since fall. My boots squelched in the mossy grass. Every sound felt amplified. The creak of wood, the drip of something from the eaves. No yelling, no crying, just stillness. I knocked twice. Sheriff's Department. Darlene? No answer. I knocked again, harder. This time, the screen door creaked open just a bit. Not from me, from inside. It had been latched. Darlene, it's Deputy Hartman, I said. You called us. I'm here to help. A voice came from deeper inside. He's still outside. Quiet. Same even tone from the call. I stepped inside. It smelled wrong. Not rotting or chemical, more like old wood and wet clothes. Like something mildewed that had soaked into the bones of the place. The lights inside flickered, like they were running off a dying generator. She was sitting on the couch. Middle aged, short gray streaked hair. Wrapped in a faded flannel blanket, not crying, not trembling. Just sitting there like she was waiting on a bus. I scanned the room. No sign of forced entry. No busted windows. The back door was shut and latched. You said someone's trying to get in? She nodded. I stepped toward the kitchen. Peeked out the window. Nothing. Just trees and more darkness. You sure? I don't see anyone out there. He's waiting, she said. He always waits. Something about the way she said it made my stomach tighten. Who is he? She looked at me, really looked, for the first time. He used to live here. Before I moved in. I glanced around. The place looked old, but not unlivable. Definitely not like it had housed more than one person recently. And how long have you been here? 7 years. And he's been coming around this whole time? She hesitated. No, she said. Just since last month. I pulled my notepad out. You got a name for him? She shook her head. He doesn't talk much. You've seen his face? Another pause. He has a face, she said finally. But it's not his. Before I could ask what the hell that meant, something thumped against the back of the trailer. We both froze. It was subtle, not a bang. More like a heavy footfall. Just one. I clicked my radio again. Dispatch, I need backup at my location. Confirm? Still nothing. County 7 to dispatch. Come in. Dead air. I pulled my service weapon. Darlene, stay here. I made my way to the back of the trailer, stepping soft. Every board creaked. I reached the door and listened. Silence. Then, from the other side of the door, not loud, not threatening, I heard someone say, "She called you, didn't she?" A man's voice, clear, calm. I looked through the narrow window in the door. Nobody there. Back away from the door, I said. Hands where I can see them. The voice came again, closer this time. You're not supposed to be here. I stepped back, one hand on the knob, one gripping my Glock tight. I swung the door open fast and raised my light. Nothing. Not even footprints. Just soft moss, flattened grass, and fog. I did a sweep of the perimeter. Circled the trailer. Shined my light out into the woods. I know what I saw next sounds crazy, but I swear it's real. There were two shadows on the ground. Mine. And one taller, leaner, a few feet behind me. I spun around. No one there, but my breath caught in my throat when I turned my flashlight downward. There was a footprint, not boots, Bare feet. Long, narrow. Pressed into the dirt behind me like someone had been right there, standing just over my shoulder. I got the hell back inside. Darlene hadn't moved. "He always does that," she said quietly. "Shows up behind you." I was done playing nice. "Ma'am, I need you to come with me. We're going back to the station until we figure out what's going on here." "I can't leave," she said. Double quotes. "Yes, you can." "No." She looked up at me. "That's how he gets in. When you leave the door open." I didn't leave the door. Turned. The back door was wide open. I know I shut it. In there, just inside the doorway, were two wet footprints on the linoleum floor. Bare. Human. Facing inside. I aimed my gun toward the hall. "Who's in here?" I shouted. "Come out where I can see you." Silence. Darlene didn't move. Didn't blink. "He's not a person," she said. "Then what is he?" She looked at me like I was the slow one. "He's whoever he needs to be. Sometimes a man. Sometimes a kid. Sometimes you." That's when my radio clicked on. "County 7, what's your status?" A voice I recognized. "Dispatch. Finally. This is County 7, I need backup now. Possible intruder in the residence. Rear entry point is compromised." There was a pause. Then the voice said, "We didn't send you." "What?" "We didn't dispatch anyone to that location tonight." I stared down at the radio. "You called it in," I said. "I was dispatched at 22:04 by Sarah." Another pause. "We don't have anyone named Sarah working tonight." The radio hissed. Then cut. Just like that. I was alone again. But I wasn't alone, because down the hallway, just past the bathroom, something was moving. There was something, down the hallway. The air had shifted again. That heavy, wet kind of silence that eats up every sound and makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. I kept my weapon raised, my back to the wall, moving slow toward the narrow hallway where the shadows swallowed the light. Behind me, Darlene was whispering something under her breath. I couldn't hear the words, but it didn't sound like praying. It sounded like repeating a phrase over and over, like a warning or a rule. The hallway was maybe 10 feet long. 2 closed doors. 1 open, the bathroom, I think. A nightlight glowed faintly from inside, casting a sickly yellow hue over the peeling floor tile. I took a breath and called out again. "Whoever's here, this is your last warning. Come out now." A creak came from the left bedroom. Door. Slow, like someone shifting their weight behind it. My grip on the Glock was white-knuckled. I stepped forward, positioned to kick the door in, when I heard a voice from the other side of the door. But not just any voice. My voice. "Don't open it." I froze. It wasn't a recording. It wasn't a trick. It was me, like I was already inside the room, whispering through the wood. "Turn around," the voice said. "You're not supposed to be here." I backed away. Every muscle in my body was screaming to get out. Fight or flight was long gone. This was something worse. Something primal. "Darlene?" I called back toward the living room. "We're leaving, now." No response. "Darlene?" Nothing. I turned and moved fast down the hall, clearing the bathroom as I passed, empty, and came into the living room. It was dark. The TV was off. The porch light gone. Darlene was still on the couch, but her head was tilted back. Mouth slightly open, eyes rolled up, like she was unconscious. Or dead. I rushed over. Her skin was cold. But not dead cold. More like empty. Like no one was inside. And then she moved. Not her whole body, just her eyes. They locked onto mine fast. Too fast. Like they hadn't been closed at all. "I told you not to leave the door open," she whispered. And then, from directly behind me, something laughed. I spun around. Gun raised, heart in my throat. No one there. But the front door? Open, wide open, I sprinted to it, stepped out onto the porch, gun raised, sweeping the overgrown yard and trees beyond. And that's when I saw something standing just inside the tree line, watching me. A silhouette, tall, narrow, impossibly still. The kind of stillness that doesn't belong to living things. I aimed my light at it. Nothing. Gone. The woods looked the same as before. Empty, cold, quiet. But then, from behind me again. Don't look too long. I turned back toward the trailer, and my blood froze. Someone was standing inside the house now, just past the doorway. Not Darlene. Not anyone I recognized. Same build as me. Same haircut. Same uniform. Same face. He smiled. IDN single quotes in that he raised his hand. The same way I do when entering a scene. Just checking things out. He said in my voice. My gun didn't feel real in my hand anymore. My legs didn't either. I don't know what this is, I said aloud. But you need to stop now. Other me tilted his head like he was curious. Then stepped back into the shadows of the trailer. Gone. I stepped in after him. Against every instinct, the first. Darlene was gone. So was the couch. The whole place was empty. Unfurnished. Dead silent. I walked in a circle. Light swinging over peeling wallpaper, moldy carpet. Spiderwebs in every corner. It looked like no one had lived here in years. The TV was gone. The lamp, the flannel blanket. Even the smell had changed. No more damp clothes or wood. Just rot. I backed toward the door, trying to think clearly. Trying to understand. And then my radio crackled. County 7, are you there? I jumped, grabbed the mic. This is County 7. I'm at the scene. I need immediate assistance. Something is wrong here. Pause. 10-4. Stay on the line. Then silence again. I waited. My hand shook so bad I nearly dropped the mic. Another voice came through. This one wasn't dispatch. It was me. Breathing, slow, measured. Then. He likes it when you talk. I dropped the radio. Ran. Back through the front door. Down the steps. Across the yard. Didn't even check behind me. I didn't want to know what might be following. I jumped into my patrol car and locked the doors. Started the engine. Wouldn't turn over. Dead. Dashboard flickered. Then came to life, but all the dials were wrong. Speedometer pegged at 120. Fuel at empty. Clock blinking, 0 o'clock on repeat. The radio came on again, and it wasn't dispatch. It was a voice whispering, "You never left." I opened the door, ready to run back up the road if I had to, and stopped, because the trailer was gone. Just gone. Nothing but an overgrown patch of grass and a burned-out slab of concrete. No porch. No lights. No Darlene. My breath caught in my throat. I stepped out of the car slowly, flashlight raised. This wasn't where I parked. It couldn't be, but it was that same spot. Same tire tracks. I was back, where the address had taken me, but the trailer didn't exist anymore. There were no structures in sight, just woods and fog. In silence, until my phone. Vibrated. 1 bar of service, unknown. Number. 1 new voicemail. I played it. A woman's voice, flat, familiar. He's back. He's trying to come inside. Please hurry. The same exact call, the one I got tonight, except this one was timestamped 6 years ago, before I even joined the department. The aftermath filed the report. They didn't believe me. I know they didn't. The official story was that I responded to an old dispatch error, an outdated location from a long-closed case. Some poor woman died there in a domestic incident years ago. Burned in a fire set by her ex-husband, only. One photo still exists of her. Her name wasn't Darlene. It was Sarah. The same name that dispatch used when they supposedly sent me. They say she died before she could call for help. But there was a voicemail on my phone. Her voice, her exact voice. Text said there was no call. Received. No data trail. Just the message. Sometimes. I think I'm still in that trailer, like I never really got out. Like I'm still standing there in that hallway. Hearing my own voice whispering back through the door. Other nights. I hear footsteps outside my house. Light. Careful, like someone's waiting for me to open the door. But I won't, because now I understand. The thing pretending to be me? It never wanted to kill me. It just wanted to take my place. And one day, if I let my guard down long enough, it will. The tunnel under the highway. I should have waited for backup. But when a kid goes missing near a drainage tunnel under the highway and it's raining, you don't wait. You just go. It was a Saturday, just after 6 p.m. Cloudy, cold. One of those days where it looks like dusk even before the sun's down. I got a call from dispatch. A 13-year-old boy hadn't come home after riding his bike with friends. They said the last place he was seen was near the old storm runoff tunnel. The one that cuts under Route 19 like a concrete artery. Locals call it the drain. Every town has a place like it. Somewhere kids dare each other to go. Spray-painted walls, trash everywhere. Creepy stories passed around in whispers. Ours just happened to be under a stretch of highway known for bad accidents and worse cell reception. By the time I got there, the sky was fully gray and the wind had picked up. The boys' friends were still there, 2 of them standing near the mouth of the tunnel. Faces pale and scared in that way only kids get when they know something's gone really wrong. One of them, a skinny kid named Tyler, looked up as I parked. He went in there, he said, pointing at the tunnel. And he didn't come out. I looked at the opening. Maybe 5 feet high, with standing water already inching up the concrete slope. A dull smell of mold and sewage drifted out. You couldn't see more than 20 feet in. Just darkness and trickles of water echoing off the walls. I asked how long it had been. Like an hour? Tyler said. We thought he was messing around. But then he started screaming. I frowned. What kind of screaming? Like he saw something. The other kid, Mateo, spoke up, voice shaking. He yelled my name. Then he said something was crawling toward him. He dropped his flashlight and ran. We thought he'd come out the other end, but he never did. How far does the tunnel go? They both shrugged. Couple 100 feet maybe. Tyler said. We've never gone all the way. I radioed it in. County 3 to dispatch. At the tunnel under Route 19, possible juvenile missing inside. Requesting additional units and K9 entering the tunnel now. Dispatch confirmed. But the signal was already crackling. I clipped the radio back and turned on my flashlight. I should have waited. The second I stepped inside, the sound changed. Outside, wind. Trees, traffic above. Inside, drip, drip, drip. Water echoing forever. And my own boots splashing through ankle-deep sludge. The beam of my light cut through the dark, but didn't reach very far. The walls were cold, wet, covered in graffiti, most of the dumb stuff, names and cartoon dicks. But a few symbols caught my eye, circles, clusters of tiny crosses, handprints, some looked fresh. Eli? I called out. This is Deputy Brooks. You in there? My voice bounced down the tunnel like it had a mind of its own. No answer. I took a few more steps, scanning the water. After about 30 feet, I found the flashlight, half submerged. Still on, I picked it up. Its lens was cracked, and the beam flickered like it was shorting out. But it worked. I called again. Eli, if you can hear me, say something. Silence. Then, maybe 30 seconds later. A splash, farther down. But it didn't sound like a kid running. It sounded like something heavy dragging across wet concrete. I stopped walking. Eli? I said again. Another splash. Closer this time. Slower. I raised both flashlights and moved forward, step by step. The tunnel dipped slightly, and the water got deeper, now up to mid-calf. The concrete underfoot was slick, and the walls felt like they were closing in. That's when the smell hit me. Rot, wet fur, copper, like a dead animal that had been sitting in water too long. I covered my nose and pushed on. After what felt like forever, I saw something floating. A shoe. Black, size 7, Converse. I bagged it and marked the location with chalk from my belt. Then, a voice. Faint, warped by distance and echoes. Help. I spun around. Light swinging wildly. It had come from behind me, which made no sense. I hadn't passed anyone, but I turned and started back the way I came. Eli? That you? No answer. I quickened my pace. The tunnel was silent again. Too silent. Until the voice came again. Closer this time, but not scared. Flat. Mocking. Help. Deputy. I stopped. My chest felt tight, like the air had gotten thinner. That voice, it wasn't right. It sounded like a kid, but it also sounded like something trying to sound like a kid, like someone guessing what fear sounds like. I turned and kept walking forward again, deeper into the tunnel. I don't even know why. Instinct, maybe. If that voice wasn't Eli, then maybe Eli was still ahead. The walls were sweating. My breath came out in fog. I checked my radio. Dead. Not even static now. Just cold silence. That's when I saw a shape up ahead, curled against the wall. I ran. Eli? It wasn't him. It was a jacket. Soaked, ripped, slashed like it had been dragged across something sharp, and beneath it, scratches. Not on the jacket. On the concrete wall. Fingernail marks, deep, jagged, frantic, like someone had tried to climb up the wall. I heard another splash. This time, from behind me and in front of me. 2 splashes. Same time. My blood went cold. Then, something brushed my leg underwater. I jolted back, nearly dropping my light, whatever it was. It was big. I moved to the wall, back flat, scanning the water with both lights. Nothing. The water stilled. Then, ahead, maybe 50 feet, a figure stepped into the beam of my flashlight. It was Eli, soaking wet, pale, standing in the middle of the tunnel, shivering. Eli! I shouted. Stay there! I sloshed forward. He didn't move. He just stood there, head tilted slightly. Are you hurt? No answer. I got closer. 20 feet. His eyes were open, too wide. His face blank. Something was wrong. Then he opened his mouth and said, in a perfect imitation of my voice, "You should have waited for backup." I froze. He grinned. And then dropped, like something pulled him straight down into the water. Gone in a blink. No splash. No struggle. Just gone. I ran to the spot, searched, dove my hands into the filthy water. Nothing. No boy. No body. No ripples. Like he had never been there. I backed away, shaking, heart pounding so loud I couldn't hear anymore. Then from behind me again, the voice whispered, "Deputy." But it was my voice. The voice echoed off the concrete again. Low, calm, mine, deputy. I turned, breath stuck in my throat, nothing behind me. Just water, tunnel, and darkness. But I could feel something there. Like heat off a body. Like breath on the back of my neck. I aimed my light behind me, then forward again. Nothing. But I didn't trust my eyes anymore. Not after what I'd just seen. I kept moving, deeper. Because I had to. Eli had to be here. Alive or dead. The tunnel started narrowing. Less headroom. The water was up to my thighs now, and freezing, not just cold, but wrong. Like it had weight. Like it knew I was in it. The air stank worse now. Rotting metal. Wet dog. Mildew. There were noises, subtle ones. A low scraping, almost rhythmic, like claws on concrete. And then, a sound I'll never forget. A voice. Just barely audible. Singing. It came from the walls. All around me. Childlike, crooked, like a lullaby that had been dragged through glass. Then I heard it again. My voice, but panic this time, desperate. Help me. I'm down here. It was coming from ahead, but I knew it wasn't me. Still, I ran, sloshing through that thick black water. Tunnel sloping downward, now tighter. Every few feet the ceiling felt lower. I had to crouch. Then my flashlight hit something up ahead, a backpack, wedged against the wall, half submerged. I grabbed it and flipped it open. Inside, school books, a water bottle, one AirPod, and a phone. It buzzed in my hand, as if triggered by motion. The screen lit up. Camera. Selfie mode. But it wasn't showing me. It was showing Eli. Face pale, wet, eyes wide. But in the footage, he wasn't alone. Behind him, something tall, black, all elbows and knees, crouching in the tunnel. Its limbs were too long. Its head wrong. Not an animal. Not a man. It leaned in behind him and smiled. Then the footage cut out. I dropped the phone. My hand was shaking. The tunnel suddenly felt so much smaller. That's when I realized I wasn't alone. There was a handprint on the wall. Fresh, wet. Right next to my head. It hadn't been there seconds before. And worse. Another was slowly forming. Fingers pressing into the grime, one by one. Long fingers. Wrong fingers. I turned and ran. I didn't care about protocol. I didn't care if I got fired. I needed out. Now. Then it went out. Pitch black. No sound but water and my own boots hammering it. I hit the radio again. Dispatch, this is County 3. I need help. I'm in the tunnel. Something's down here. I don't know what the hell it is, but a voice cut in. Not dispatch. It said, exactly like me. No units available. Proceed alone. Then static. I stopped running. Tried to catch my breath. Tunnel dead silent again. Until I heard something. Breathing, not normal breathing. Too deep, too wet, too close. My flashlight flickered. Back on for half a second, and in that half second I saw it. Not in front of me. Above me, clinging to the ceiling. Its body looked wrong, stretched and jointed in places a body shouldn't bend. Its head cocked, skin pale and sagging like it had been boiled. No eyes but its mouth. That mouth was smiling my smile. Then it dropped. I screamed and ran full sprint, nearly falling as I splashed through the water. My gun was useless. I didn't even think to aim it. I just ran. The tunnel started to rise again. My boots found traction. I kept going, lungs burning, until I saw light, pale blue daylight leaking in from the far end. The other exit. I don't remember how I got through the grate. It was rusted shut, half covered in roots. I tore at it like a wild animal. My arms were bleeding. I didn't stop. Eventually, it gave. I knew something was wrong the second Hendricks' body cam turned back on. We'd already buried him. He died 6 nights ago. Shot during a standoff outside a farmhouse on the edge of Ridge Hollow. Clean shot. Upper chest. He'd bled out before A's could even get there. I was 2 feet away from him when it happened. I still remember the sound his radio made when he dropped. That awful, dry wheeze as his body hit the dirt. The funeral was 3 days ago. The department did the usual. Flags, procession, folded triangle for the family. He was cremated. The urn sat on his sister's mantel. So when the system pinged last night, Hendricks, body cam active, we all assumed it was a glitch until we opened the footage. We use Axon cams. Real-time syncing. No room for errors. Hendricks' gear had been logged, boxed, and sent for review. But there it was, an active, time-stamped upload. New footage, GPS-tag. And not from the evidence locker. It was coming from out near Ridge Hollow. Same spot where he was killed. I was in the office with LT Grayson when the footage started rolling. No one said a word. The clip began in black, then a flicker, and suddenly we're looking at a gravel road, mist creeping over the ditch line. Body cam angle, shoulder height. Moving slow like a night patrol. It was grainy and the mic crackled like the wind was cutting through the mic, but we could make out footsteps, breathing, and a voice. Ridge Hollow clear. Continuing southbound. My blood ran cold. It was Hendrix, his voice. His cadence. Like he was just walking the line, like he never died. Grayson turned pale and hit pause. Where's the gear? We tore through the storage logs. His vest and cam were still in evidence. Still sealed. So how the hell were we watching him walk around in real time? I didn't sleep that night. Today, I went out to Ridge Hollow myself. I told Grayson I needed to check the area, but really, I had to see it. Had to prove it was just a loop or a copy or something explainable. It was nearly midnight when I got there. Same road, same thick woods creeping up both sides. Power lines leaning over like tired old men. Just the hum of crickets and a warm breeze sliding through the grass. I parked, got out, and walked to the spot where Hendrix fell. It's still stained. Gravel doesn't wash easy. I stood there and said his name out loud. Nothing. Then footsteps behind me. I turned fast, hand on my holster. No one there. I scanned the tree line with my flashlight. Nothing but thick brush and empty space. And then my radio crackled. County 6, Ridge Hollow clear. Continuing southbound. I swear to God, it was his voice. I swear to God. Dropped my flashlight. Picked it up with shaking hands. Tried to breathe. Tried to tell myself this was grief. Trauma, anything but what it sounded like. I called it in. Dispatch. Confirm if anyone's patrolling Ridge Hollow. Long pause. Negative. County 6, you're the only unit assigned. Any chance you're running archived body cam footage? Another pause. No, why? I didn't answer. I got in my cruiser and left. Didn't even look in the rear view. Back at the station. I checked the system again. Another new clip had uploaded. Same GPS ping. But this time, Hendrix wasn't just walking. He was knocking on doors. Part 2. The new body cam clip started at 2:14 a.m. Hendrix. Cam was moving slow again. That shaky shoulder perspective, walking down a residential street about 5 miles from Ridge Hollow. You could hear his boots crunch in gravel. His breathing sounded shallow, controlled. But off. He stopped in front of a trailer. Shined his flashlight at the door. Knocked once. No response. Then, through the mic, you could hear him mutter, "Noise complaint. Unknown occupants." There hadn't been a call logged. Not on our system. Not anywhere. He knocked again. Louder. A dog barked in the distance. Finally, a porch light flicked on. A man opened the door halfway, middle-aged, confused. "What's going on?" The guy asked, rubbing his eyes. And Hendrix, or whatever we were watching, said, "Just making sure you're still here." That sentence landed like a gut punch. The guy froze. "What?" The camera tilted, as if Hendrix was smiling. The footage cut out. I checked the timestamp again. The address. It was real. That man filed a report this morning. Said a deputy knocked on his door at 2 a.m., but didn't give his name. Just stared. Then walked away. We told him it must have been a prank. But we knew it wasn't. That same night, 2 more clips uploaded. One from a gas station en route 6. Another from the elementary school parking lot. Same. Routine. Walking. Scanning. Whispering codes into a radio no one was listening to. And every time, he was getting closer. At 4:23 a.m. The last clip came through. It started just like the others. Dark road. Wet pavement. Radio static. But this time, The GPS ping made my stomach drop. It was 2 blocks from my house. I didn't think. I just got in the cruiser and floored it. Didn't tell Grayson. Didn't radio it in. I didn't want anyone else getting pulled into this. The roads were dead quiet. Sky still dark. I kept my lights off as I approached the street. When I turned the corner, I saw him, standing under the lamppost across from my driveway. Same uniform, same height, vest, badge, boots, but the face? It wasn't quite right. Too pale. Cheeks too sunken, eyes just wrong, unblinking, like glass marbles in the wrong sockets. He didn't move as I pulled up. Just stared. I stepped out, hand on my weapon. "Hendricks," I said. "You're dead." He tilted his head. Smiled. Barely. Then, for the first time, he spoke without the radio distortion. "I know. And I swear to God." He sounded happy about it. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't go inside. I sat in my car with the doors locked, staring at that patch of sidewalk until the sun came up. He was gone by morning. No footprints. No dash cam footage. Like it never happened. The department won't talk about it. They deleted the clips. Pulled the GPS logs. Told everyone it was a system error. But I kept the original footage. Saved it to a private drive, and I've watched it every night since. Because the last clip? It wasn't just recorded near my house. It ended at my front door. The last 2 seconds are glitchy, but if you pause at the right frame, you can see the reflection in the storm door, his hand reaching toward the handle, and over his shoulder, in the darkness behind him, something else. A shape. Not a man, not even close. The last thing I saw 3 nights ago. My body cam powered on. I haven't worn it since last month. I pulled it out of my locker. The battery wasn't just full. It was recording. And in the first few seconds of the footage, I'm standing at the end of a gravel road, somewhere I've never been, wind blowing through tall grass. Radio crackling, and my own voice, whispering, continuing southbound. The first time I got dispatched to 238 Lowell Road, I didn't think anything of it. Just a standard check. A 911 hang-up. We get those all the time. Kids playing with old phones. Cell tower glitches. People butt dialing emergency services in their sleep. I pulled up expecting an empty house. Maybe a stray squatter. Nothing serious, but this one was different. The house was dark. Fully boarded up. You could tell no one had lived there in years. Paint peeling, porch sagging, mailbox crumpled like someone backed into it and never fixed it. And yet, the call came from a landline registered to that address. A landline. In a house with no power. No lights, and according to property records, no active phone service since 2009. I should have left it at that, should have logged it. Filed the report and walked away. But something made me step onto the porch anyway. Maybe it was the feeling. That subtle wrongness you can't explain but feel in your chest. Like the quiet was too quiet. Like the air was watching. I knocked once. The wood sounded soft, rotted. My knock barely made a sound. Sheriff's Department. I called out, responding to a 911 call. No answer. I tried the door. Unlocked. I stepped inside. It was colder than it should have been, even for an empty house. The kind of cold that gets behind your eyes and makes your thoughts feel slow. Dust everywhere. Old wallpaper curling in on itself. Bits of broken glass scattered near the window frames, and something else. A toy, sitting right in the middle of the living room floor. One of those plastic Fisher-Price phones with the googly eyes. The kind kids used in the 90s to pretend they were making calls. It was clean. Too clean. No dust. No grime, like someone had just put it there. I walked through the house slowly. Each room felt worse than the last. Not because of what was in them, but because of what wasn't. No furniture. No decor, no trash. Nothing to suggest anyone had ever really lived here. Just one other thing out of place. A disconnected rotary phone mounted on the hallway wall. Cord cut. Handset hanging at an angle. It clicked once. Then again, even though it was dead. I walked up to it and stared. Then it rang. Just once. A single shrill reeing that made me jump back like it had struck me. I grabbed my radio. Dispatch, I'm inside 238 Lowell. Confirm status of landline. Static. I repeated myself. Still nothing. Dead channel. I backed out of the hallway and decided I was done. Something wasn't right. My skin felt tight, like it didn't fit anymore. I got back to the front door. And stopped. The Fisher-Price phone was gone. Later. Back at the station, I asked about the address. The older guys knew it. A few shifts had been dispatched there over the years. Always the same story. Call from a disconnected line. Caller ID marked unknown. No one ever found. I pulled the old incident reports. There were 9, all 911 calls. All from the same number. All logged between 2009 and now. The audio files? Only 2 had been saved. I listened to the first one. A child's voice. Whispering, "I can't find my mom." No other sounds. No background noise. No static. The second one? A girl. Very young. "I'm in the closet," she said. Then a sharp bang, like the phone dropped. Then silence. I couldn't stop thinking about that house. So I went back. Night shift. Told my partner I was checking an old tip about squatters. I didn't even bring backup. I parked a block away and walked up in the dark. No lights. No movement. I stood on the porch, heart pounding, half hoping I'd imagined everything. Then the door opened. All on its own. Just a slow, yawning creak, and some stupid part of me, stepped inside again. The temperature dropped fast. Every footstep I took sounded muffled, like the house was swallowing sound. Like it didn't want to be heard. I made it to the hallway. To the wall-mounted rotary phone. Still there, still disconnected, and on the wall. Scratched lightly into the wood just beside it. I saw words, faint, like a child's handwriting. "Don't answer if it rings more than once." I stepped back, and behind me, from one of the rooms, a soft knock. Not loud. Just deliberate. Knock. Knock. I followed the sound down the hall, into a side bedroom. Door slightly ajar. It smelled like dust and wet carpet. There was a closet door on the far wall. Knock. Knock. I approached slowly. Flashlight shaking. Knock. Then silence. I reached out, opened the closet. Nothing. Just empty shelves and a faint smell of something sweet, like old shampoo or bubble gum. But then I saw it. Another toy, a stuffed rabbit, small and grimy, lying perfectly centered on the closet floor. Its head was turned toward the door, eyes wide, staring up at me. Didn't hear the phone until I was back in the hallway. It rang once. Then twice. I froze. Don't answer if it rings more than once. It rang a third time. Then stopped. Stood there for what felt like forever. Then the dial tone clicked on. A voice came through the receiver, but I hadn't touched it. Not a child this time. A man, flat, cold. "Why did you come back?" My legs moved before my brain caught up. I bolted out the front door and didn't stop running until I hit the sidewalk. Back at the station, I pulled the dispatch logs again, found something I missed. Call number 6 from 2016. Same house. Same number. The responding officer's name? Deputy Mark Odell. I remember him. Quiet guy. Worked midnights. He quit that same year. No notice, no explanation. Just stopped showing up. Moved out of state. I dug around and found his last known number. Called it. Took 3 tries before someone answered. Odell's voice was a whisper. "You went inside, didn't you?" I said nothing. He continued. "Let me guess." It rang more than once. My throat went dry. I didn't answer it. There was a pause. Then he said, "Good. Don't. Not ever." "What happens if you do?" He didn't respond. Then in a voice that shook a little, "Do you hear them yet?" "Hear who?" "The kids." Then he hung up. I didn't sleep after talking to Odell. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, waiting to hear something. A tap. A knock. A soft voice near the closet door. I didn't know what the kids meant, and I wasn't sure I wanted to. I told myself I'd stay away, that I'd never go back to that house. But you don't just walk away from something like that. It crawls under your skin. It sits behind your eyes. And then, the next night, at 2:17 a.m., my radio lit up. Call type, 911 UNK emergency callback, nitrogen monoxide answer address, 238 Lowell RDI. Just sat there staring at the screen. The station was quiet, graveyard shift skeleton crew. I could have ignored it. Let another unit take it. But dispatch radioed again. "County 7, you're the closest. Can you check it out?" I should have said no, but my mouth moved on its own. Copy, en route. The second Anij Edit, the neighborhood was dead silent, not even the usual hum of late-night TV behind closed windows. Streetlights flickering. Tree branches tapping against power lines. Lowell Road looked darker than before. Like the shadows had thickened. The house waited for me. Nothing had changed. The boarded windows, the sunken porch, the leaning frame, but something felt wrong. Heavier. Like it knew I was coming back. I stepped onto the porch. Every instinct screamed to leave, to back away slowly and call it in as a false alarm. The front door opened again, just like last time. A slow, soft creak. I didn't push it, didn't touch the knob. It opened for me. A breath of cold air slid across my face. It smelled like old wood, wet dirt, and something faintly sweet, like a child's shampoo bottle left open for years. I stepped inside. The Fisher-Price toy phone was back, right in the center of the living room floor, facing the hallway this time. Eyes pointed toward the dark, waiting. The seal of the house held its breath. I swear it did. I heard a faint sound, not a voice. Not a knock, more like the muffled vibration of a phone buried under blankets. The rotary phone. Click. Once. Twice. Then. Again. Ring. Not. Once. Twice. 3 times. I remembered the words scratched into the wall. Don't answer if it rings more than once. It rang. Again. And again. I couldn't move. Could barely breathe. Then, on the 7th ring, it stopped. And the house whispered. I don't know how else to describe it. The walls breathed. The air shifted. And from the hallway, in the softest, saddest voice I've ever heard, "Please, don't leave me alone again." A child's voice. A little girl. I lifted my flashlight, walked toward the sound. The boards creaked but didn't echo. Like the house absorbed the noise. I reached the hallway. The rotary phone was swaying slightly on the wall. The scratches beneath it looked deeper now. New lines. Fresh grooves, one new sentence. "If you hear her, don't look." Too late, because I already looked. The CLO said. Side bedroom door was cracked open, just like before. Light flickered inside, faint, flickering white, like the reflection of headlights passing through broken blinds. But there were no cars outside. I stepped in. The closet door was shut this time, but something moved behind it. Just a shift. A small scrape. My mind wasn't thinking straight. The scrape came again. I reached out with my free hand, grabbed the knob, and pulled, just that stuffed rabbit again. But its head was turned the other way now, facing the far corner of the closet, toward the wall. Then I heard it, a soft exhale, not behind me. Not in the hallway, from inside the closet. From behind the wall, like something was standing on the other side, breathing, slow, patient, waiting. I slammed the door shut. And that's when the real phone, my duty radio, chirped. A child, crying, barely audible, buried under static. I dropped the radio. It clattered to the floor. When I bent down to grab it, I noticed something outside the bedroom door. Small. Footprints. Wet. Bare. Leading deeper into the house. But they weren't a child's. Wide, too long a man's footprints, but walking on the balls of the feet, not the heels. Like he was trying to stay quiet. Trying to be light, trying to avoid making sound. I followed them because I had no choice. I didn't even realize she was missing until I pulled the guy over. It was a routine stop. Busted taillight. Midnight. Middle of nowhere. No traffic. Just his car and mine on that long stretch of County Road 11. Tree lines on both sides like curtains waiting to close. He didn't run. Didn't act nervous. But something about the car made my gut go cold. It was a black Crown Vic. Old model. Ex-cop car maybe. No plates. Just cruising like it belonged on that road. When I hit the lights, it pulled over smooth. I approached, hand near my holster, running through the usual script in my head. Evening, sir. License and regie. Then I saw the uniform, not his. Hers. Same vest, same patch, same exact badge. Number 8724. Clipped just above the pocket. But that was Deputy Claire Martin's badge. And Claire was missing. She'd been gone 2 weeks. Vanished during a routine call. Checked in with dispatch for a traffic stop near the edge of the forest line and was never heard from again. We found her cruiser, lights still on. Dashcam footage glitched out 40 seconds in. No sign of her. Not even a struggle. She was just gone. And now, this man was wearing her uniform, like it was tailored to him. But here's the thing. It didn't fit. Not really. The badge was sitting slightly too high. The vest was bunched in the shoulders like it had been pulled over a frame too long, too narrow. And his hands, they were pale. Almost gray, fingernails slightly off, too rounded, too smooth. Like they'd been polished. He smiled when I stepped up to the window. Not sheepish, not polite. Pleased. Like he'd been waiting for me. Everything all right, deputy? He asked, voice low and steady. I didn't answer. Just kept my flashlight steady on the uniform. Where did you get that vest? He tilted his head. Just a bit. Like a bird noticing something shiny. You don't recognize me, he said. I didn't blink. Step out of the vehicle. His smile didn't move, but his eyes did. Flicked up toward the trees. Then back to me. I thought you'd be happy to see me, he said. After everything we've been through. My hand hovered near my weapon now. Step out. He did. Slowly. Movements precise, not hesitant. His boots, Claire's boots, touched the asphalt without a sound. He was tall. Maybe 6'4". Taller than anyone should be in that uniform. The shirt cuffs came up short, showing just a few inches of pale wrist. And when he stepped fully into the beams of my cruiser lights, I saw it. His name tag. It read, Martin, not like a stolen badge. Like it belonged to him. I swallowed hard. Put your hands on the vehicle. He didn't. He just looked at me with those glassy, too wide eyes. Then he said, I'm just trying to finish her shift. And something about the way he said it made my knees go weak. Like he believed it. Like he meant it. I called it in. County 5 to dispatch. I've got a suspect on a rural traffic stop wearing the uniform of a missing officer. Badge number 8724. Repeat minus 8724. Requesting immediate backup. Silence. Dispatch, do you copy? Nothing but static. I stepped back. Gun drawn now. The man smiled again. But this time it was different. Wider. Like his skin was trying to keep up with the movement. Like it wasn't made for smiling. Do you know what the last thing she said was? He asked. I didn't answer. He took one slow step forward. She said, please don't let it wear my face. My mouth went dry. He tilted his head again, then whispered, but I liked hers. I kept my gun trained on him, but he didn't seem to care. He took another step, slow and deliberate, like he was watching how I reacted more than anything else. "Don't come any closer," I said. He froze, but not naturally. It was too sudden, too clean. Like someone pressed pause on a mannequin. His smile dropped all at once. Then he said, in a voice that wasn't his, wasn't hers, wasn't anyone's, "You're ruining the shift." Something crawled up my spine, cold and electric. "What are you?" I whispered. He blinked. Too slow. Then he raised both hands and pressed his palms against the uniform. "Vest, her vest," smoothing it down like he was adjusting skin. "It fits better," he murmured, "when the body stops fighting." I fired, not into him, into the ground right by his foot. Warning shot. He didn't flinch. Not a millimeter. Instead, he tilted his head again, curious. "Does that help you feel in control?" he asked softly. Claire tried that too. My heart thudded so hard it made my vision pulse. "You killed her," I said. He looked at me. No shift. No reaction. Just a slow, unsettling blink. And then he whispered, "She's not dead." I felt my breath hitch. Before I could speak, he continued, "She's somewhere in here." He tapped the badge. Not the vest. The badge. I raised my gun again. Hands trembling now, sweat cold on my forehead. Turn around. Hands on the vehicle. Last warning. He sighed, disappointed, and did something I still can't explain. He leaned into the cruiser's headlights, shadow stretching long behind him, and as he turned, his neck stretched too, not like breaking, like unfolding, like there was more neck than body, the skin pulling but not tearing, stretching just far enough to make my stomach churn. He placed his palms on the hood, but his head stayed twisted back toward me, upside down, watching me. "Search me if you want," he said in a voice meant to sound calm. "You're not going to find her." I froze. He smiled upside down, teeth too white, too even. "She's already wearing something new." I backed away. Not tactical. Instinct. Pure fear. The Escalationi tried the radio again. "Dispatch. I need units now. Suspect is resisting, acting unstable, static. Then a voice. Not dispatch. Her voice. "Don't let him take you too." My blood turned to ice. I lowered the radio slowly. He laughed, head still twisted toward me. She thought the uniform was enough. But I needed more. His shoulders began to roll under the vest, like something inside him was rearranging. Shifting positions, kneading. I couldn't breathe. "What did you do to her?" I asked, voice shaking. He untwisted his head slowly, like rewinding a tape. Then he stood upright. He took one step toward me. Another. I raised my gun, ready to shoot center mass. His smile widened, pulling the skin too far. "Shoot," he said. "Go ahead," Claire did. That was the moment I realized the truth. The uniform wasn't the disguise. The body was. He took one more step, and the air around us went dead still. No wind, no crickets, no distant hum from the highway. Just quiet, waiting. Took a deep breath, and aimed for his leg. Pulled the trigger. The bullet hit, but he didn't react to the impact, only the sound. He shivered. Actually shivered. Like he enjoyed it. Then his voice softened, almost tender. "You sound like her." I stepped back to the cruiser, never lowering my weapon. "Stay away from me." I breathed. He nodded almost politely. "I don't want you yet." Yet. That word slammed into my gut. His smile faded. Then he whispered, "Shift's over." And he walked backward into the tree line, not turned around. Walked backward, perfectly straight, perfectly steady, never breaking eye contact. The shadows swallowed him whole. I didn't follow. FDRMAH backup arrived 17 minutes later. They found my cruiser headlights on, my dash cam running, and the Crown Vic still idling on the roadside. But the man was gone. The uniform inside the car? Gone too. Just a single item left on the driver's seat. A badge. #8724. Claire Martin. Not damaged. Not bent, cleaned, polished, too polished. I gave my report. Told them what I saw. What he said. No one believed me. They think I'm traumatized from the disappearance. That I saw a trespasser wearing surplus gear. That I panicked. They don't understand. He wasn't wearing her uniform. He was trying it on. Like clothes, like skin, like he was choosing. And last night, I found something taped to my front door. A sticky note, neat handwriting, block letters, need your size. Under it, my badge number, but not written. Engraved. Scratched deep into the wood. There's a reason we never put anyone in cell 3 anymore. But of course, that night, I didn't know that. It was my third solo overnight shift. Small town sheriff's department, population under 10,000. With more DU is in unpaid tickets than real crime. I was covering bookings, watching the jail, logging property, all the grunt work they give to rookies, so the older guys can nap in the break room. I just finished logging a guy we picked up for public intox, harmless, loud, all mouth. I put him in cell 1, like usual. He passed out on the bench within minutes. Then 2 local kids came in, weekend bar fight. Bloody noses and bruised egos. Both breathing heavy, cussing each other out like they were still in the ring. I was alone, and they were getting louder, so I did what made the most sense at the time. I put one in cell 2. And the other in cell 3 the minute I shut the door on cell 3. Everything changed. I didn't notice it at first. Just the normal jail noise, metal echo, distant fluorescent buzz, the slow tick of the wall clock behind the desk. But 5 minutes later, cell 3 went dead silent. No pacing, no swearing, not even breathing. I stood up and walked over to check. The guy, kid, maybe early 20s, was standing in the corner, facing the wall, totally still. I knocked on the bars. You good? No answer. He didn't even turn around. I called his name. Ryan? Still nothing. He just stood there, not moving, not swaying. Like someone hit pause. Something about the way he was angled, like he was listening to something in the wall, made my skin crawl. I walked back to the desk and watched the monitors. Our system is garbage. Black and white. Laggy, but you can still tell what's going on. Ryan stayed like that for over 10 minutes. Then the other 2 inmates started banging on their doors. Screaming. Cell 1 guy, the drunk, was clawing at the bars, eyes wide. He's not right, man. What the F*** is that? What's wrong with him? Cell 2 kid was crying. Actually crying. Let me out. He's whispering to me. I looked back at the monitor. Ryan was still in the corner. Same position. But now his mouth was moving. Fast. Like he was talking. Except, the audio feed didn't pick up a single word. Just static. No sound. No voice, just noise. And something about the rhythm of his jaw didn't look human, like it wasn't built for speech. I went back to the cell. He still wouldn't move. But when I stepped closer to the bars, I heard it. Not from him exactly, but from the air itself. A kind of low clicking, faint, like the sound of a dying hard drive. I opened the slot in the door. Ryan, you need to stop whatever the hell this is. Right now. His head twitched once, just a little jerk toward me. But he didn't turn. That's when I noticed something else. His shadow didn't match him. It was off, not in size. In shape, his arms were still at his sides. But the shadows were raised, like it was reaching toward me. I slammed the slot shut and backed away. Hands shaking, I called my supervisor. No answer. Called the deputy on patrol. No answer. Radioed dispatch. All I got was static. That's when the lights started to flicker, only in the hallway outside the cells. Buzz. Blink. Darkness. Buzz. Blink. Back on. And every time the lights came back on, Ryan was in a different position, Once he was crouched, then standing in the center of the cell, then pressed up against the bars with his face turned up toward the camera. Mouth still moving, no sound. The other inmates were losing it. Screaming, crying, begging me to get them out, and I'll be honest. I thought about it, but I didn't have keys to the sally port that opened the block gate, just the cell doors. If I opened them, I couldn't guarantee I could control it. And somehow, even with two guys panicking, it was Ryan who scared me more. Then, out of nowhere, the lights died completely. Total blackout. The monitors went with them. I stood in the dark with only my flashlight and the echo of the other inmates yelling. Then the yelling stopped all at once, like a switch was flipped. Dead silence. I raised my flashlight and started walking toward the cell block, step by step. Heart pounding like a war drum. I turned the corner to cell 3. Ryan was gone. The cell was empty. Dust on the floor undisturbed. Corners clean, nowhere he could have hidden. I swept the light across every inch, even under the metal cot bolted to the ground. Nothing. But the air smelled wrong. Like wet concrete and cold metal and something chemical. Like the way old batteries smell when they corrode. I whispered into the dark, "Ryan?" And a voice behind me whispered back, "Don't." I spun around. It was the drunk from cell 1, pale, shaking, pressed to the bars. "Don't call him," he whispered. "He'll hear you." My flashlight beam shook over him. His eyes were bloodshot, but clear. Sober with fear. "What did you see?" I asked. He shook his head violently. "Not what? Who? Then who was it?" He pressed his forehead against the bars. "Not the kid." Before I could ask more, a faint metallic scrape drifted down the hallway, from the dark, from the far end where the cameras never worked. RIGHTA, dragging sound. Slow. Deliberate. SCCCHHHHHHH. Like something pulling itself across the floor using its arms. I raised my weapon with both hands. My flashlight beam twitched over each empty cell door. 3, 5. The dragging got louder. Cell 2 kids started crying again. "Please don't let him near me. Please don't let it come here." Then the lights flickered once, twice, and snapped back on, and I saw him. Ryan. Standing at the end of the hallway. Except something was off. His neck was too long, not stretched. Wrong. Tilted at an angle no living person holds their head. His shirt was torn at the back where the fabric had split, like something underneath had moved differently than a spine should. His arms hung too low, fingers nearly brushing the floor, elbows bent like a puppeteer had pulled them the wrong way. He stared at me. Not blinking, mouth slightly open, but still moving. Still whispering that sound I'd heard earlier, that clicking. Like insects chewing. I took one step back. "Ryan," I said quietly, "stay where you are." He stopped whispering. And in perfect silence, he turned his head, not his body, just his head, all the way around, until he was staring directly at the drunken cell 1. Like he'd been waiting for someone to look away so he could look where he really wanted. The drunk screamed. Ryan took a step forward, but it wasn't a step. It was a drop. His knees buckled in the wrong direction, like a puppet collapsing, then snapping back into place, propelling him forward faster than I could blink. I raised my weapon. "Stop!" He froze inches from the bars of cell 1. The drunk backed into the corner, sobbing. Ryan slowly lifted a hand, placed it flat against the bars, and his fingers slid between them farther than fingers should go. Farther than bone allows. Farther until his knuckles brushed the air of the cell. Then he turned, his head back to me. Fast. Wet. And smiled. Wide. Too wide. That was when I realized he wasn't trying to get into cell 1. He was listening to me because his smile dropped, and he straightened up, jerking back into place like his joints were rubber returning to shape. Then he said, perfectly clearly, "You should let me out." Not whispered, not distorted, his real voice, or the voice he chose to use. I held my gun steady. "You're not leaving that cell block." He laughed once short sharp. Then he turned and walked calmly back down the hallway. I followed slowly. Gun raised. He reached cell 3. Stepped inside, turned around. And shut the door behind him with both hands. Then he leaned into the bars and whispered, "You can turn the lights off now." My hands went numb. Aftermath. The power outage was never explained. When the morning shift arrived, the lights were back, the cameras were working, and cell 3 looked normal. Except for one thing. Ryan was gone. Just gone. His clothes were in a pile on the cot. His fingerprints were on the bars. His booking forms were on my desk, but his body? Gone. No sign of forced entry. No gaps between the bars. No footage of him leaving. He was just there one moment, and not the next. The sheriff told me to chalk it up to a clerical mistake and delete the incident from the log. But I kept the footage, because every time I watch it, cell 3 looks empty the whole night. Every frame, every angle, every times tamp. No man in the corner. No shadows out of place. No figure standing at the end of the hallway. But the audio? The audio is still there. Soft clicking, whispering, and once, just once, a voice that sounds almost like mine, saying, "Let me out." The driver was hysterical by the time I got there. He was kneeling in the gravel off the shoulder of old Route 12, blood on his hands, shaking so hard he couldn't get his words out. His pickup's front end was smashed in, hood crumpled, windshield cracked straight down the middle. I asked him what happened. He just pointed to the ditch. "There was a boy," he said. He ran into the road. I didn't even see him. He came out of nowhere." I looked where he pointed. Tall grass. Dark, uneven ground. "Nothing else. No body," I said. No. He clutched at my arm. "I hit him. I felt it. I swear to God." "Where is he now?" He just shook his head, like he couldn't understand the question. We called in EMS, brought in search dogs, floodlights, everything. There was no sign of a child. No blood in the ditch. No torn clothing. No scuff marks. Not even footprints. Just broken glass, and a man who kept whispering. I saw his face. He was smiling. We ran the plates, did the breathalyzer, checked for drugs. All clean. But the dash cam. That was the part that got me. We pulled it the next morning. The footage starts normal. Dark road, headlights, a low hum from the tires over gravel. The guy wasn't speeding, wasn't on the phone. Just driving. Then, at timestamp 1 hour 18 minutes and 23 seconds, something steps out into the road, a small figure, from the left side. You can tell immediately it's a child, short, barefoot, maybe 8 or 9 years old, thin, wearing a hospital gown or something white and loose. He walks right into the middle of the lane. No rush. No panic. And then he stops, turns toward the truck, and just smiles. It's quick. A second, maybe less, but enough to make your gut twist. It's not fear. Not even surprise. Just this slow, knowing little smile. The kind that says, "I wanted this." The truck hits him full on. There's an impact. A hard jolt. The dash cam goes crooked, then cuts out for 4 seconds. When it comes back, nothing. No body. No blood. No torn clothes on the road. Just an empty ditch. The driver lost it after watching it. He kept pointing at the screen. He looked at me. He wanted me to see him. I told him I'd look into it, but here's where it gets worse. I recognized the boy. I didn't say anything, not to the driver, not to the department, but I knew that face. Everyone around here did, because that boy died last year, His name was Caleb Foster, 9 years old, killed in a hit and run on the exact same road, just a mile south. I remember the night. I was part of the response team. We found him in the ditch, head trauma, spine crushed. No chance of survival. The case went cold. Driver never found. His photo sat on the station bulletin. Bored for months, one of those school portraits, with the fake blue background and stiff smile. The same smile I saw in that dash cam footage. It wasn't just a resemblance. It was him, exactly him. I dug up the old case file. Same clothes, same height, same bare feet. He'd run away from home that night. Mom said he was sleepwalking, something he used to do as a toddler, but hadn't done in years. The kid walked 2 miles in his sleep, out of town, and right into the path of a truck that didn't stop. But if that was the end of the story, I wouldn't be telling you this, because now I'm the one seeing him. How could I? A kid we all knew was dead, buried with a headstone, a funeral, grief-stricken parents, now showing up in a dashcam video with the same grin he wore in his second-grade photo. No one would believe me. So I went back to the scene alone, middle of the day. No rain, no fog. The ditch was just a ditch, dry grass, old wrappers, the faint stink of roadkill from something long gone. I stood where the driver swore he saw the boy. Tried to picture it, that face, that smile, the way he looked directly into the camera, as if he knew exactly what was coming and wanted it. I walked the full stretch of road. Nothing unusual. Until I turned to head back and I saw something wedged under the guardrail. A shoe. Small, mud-caked, the kind they give to patients at the hospital, soft-bottomed, colorless. I bagged it and ran the prints. One partial match. Caleb Foster. That night, I pulled the dashcam footage again, not the original, a copy I'd saved on my own, and something was different this time. The boy doesn't just smile. He lifts his hand. Waves. Only for a second. But it's clear, calm, deliberate, like he's greeting someone he's been waiting for. I watched it 5 times. Then 10. And on the 11th, the timestamp changed. Instead of 1 hour 18 minutes and 23 seconds, it said 3 hours 11 minutes and 42 seconds. That was the exact time I first arrived at the ditch. The same night, the footage had changed to show my arrival, but I wasn't in it. Instead, the boy was standing in the ditch, facing the camera, hands at his sides, smiling. A week later, I was driving home, late, almost 2 a.m. I wasn't thinking about the case. I'd buried it the way we bury every bad call eventually. But as I came around a bend, something moved in the headlights. A figure, small, standing on the shoulder just ahead. Bare feet. Loose white gown. I slammed the brakes, heart in my throat. The boy turned toward me. Same face. Same wide eyes. Same slow smile. I blinked. He was gone, just vanished. No time to run. No place to hide. I stepped out of the car. Anyway, walked to where he stood. The gravel was wet. With footprints, small, perfect, barefoot prints walking across the road and into the ditch. But they didn't just stop. They ended. Mid-dash stride. Like he stepped out of the world. 2 nights after that, I woke up to a voicemail on my personal phone. No missed call. Just the message. I played it, and I swear I stopped breathing for 30 seconds straight. It was Caleb's voice. The same voice from an old interview we'd recorded at school for a safety program. The same lisp, the same sweet, awkward cadence. He said, "I saw you. Then, you saw me too." Then silence. No background noise, no distortion, just his voice. Clear. And then a whisper. Not his voice. Not a child. Low, male, breathy. "He's waiting for you to follow." That night, I got into my cruiser and drove to the ditch one last time. I didn't know what I was hoping to find. Closure? Answers? Maybe to prove I was just sleep deprived and unraveling. I parked, left the engine running. Sat there, watching the ditch. Then, I saw it. A figure not in the ditch in my rear view. Mirror standing in the road behind me. I turned to look, nothing there, but the dashcam light. Blinked recording. I didn't remember turning it on. I let it run. Sat in silence. 5 minutes. 10. The night grew thick around me, like the trees were holding their breath. Then the radio clicked. Static. Then a whisper. Look. I turned back to the road, and he was there, standing. Dead center in my high beams. Caleb. Bare feet, matted hair. That smile again, now. Wider. Stranger. His arms were held out at his sides like a puppet waiting for strings. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. Then, he lifted one hand and pointed at me. No words. Just that slow, trembling finger aimed directly at my chest. Then the headlights flickered, and he was gone. I quit the force 3 days later. Didn't explain why. Didn't turn in the dashcam footage. I couldn't, because now, no matter where I drive, I see him. In alleys, at stoplights, in reflections. And the worst part? He's not always alone anymore. Sometimes, there's a shape behind him. Tall, thin. Faceless. And I think Caleb is smiling, because he's not the one who died. The moment I stepped into the house, I felt it. Off. Wrong. Like walking into a memory that wasn't mine. Everything looked normal on the surface. Clean floors, framed family photos, lights on. Thermostat humming, but the air had weight. Thick. Stale. Like it hadn't moved in days. I was there on a welfare check. A neighbor called it in, said the man who lived here. Thomas Riley hadn't been seen in over a week. Mail piling up. Lights on at weird hours. Car in the driveway. No answer at the door. Standard call. I expected to knock, look around, maybe leave a card and move on, but the front door was unlocked. And every mirror inside was uncovered. That stuck with me. You don't think about mirrors when you're working patrol. They're just part of the background, furniture, decoration, nothing more. But this house had one in every room. Big ones. Standing ones. Wall-length ones, facing into corners. Into halls. Into each other. I've never seen that many in a single house. And all of them were clean. Spotless. Like someone had been maintaining them long after they stopped doing anything else. I called out. Mr. Riley? Sheriff's Department, you home? No answer. I moved room to room, announcing myself like protocol says. Checked for signs of forced entry, signs of a struggle. Nothing. Living room, normal. Kitchen, spotless. But fridge humming louder than it should. Bedroom, unmade bed, clothes in the hamper, lamp on, bathroom. That's where I found it. The mirror, same size as the others. But this one had scratches along the bottom edge. Dozens, some deep. Like they'd been made with a key or a knife. I bent closer, shining my flashlight at the glass. Words. Scratched into the silver backing in a frantic, shaky hand. He's in the reflection. My skin prickled. And then I saw it. Just for a second. Movement. Not mine. Not behind me. Inside the mirror. I spun around. Nothing there. But when I looked back, my reflection was still moving. Slightly. Not delayed. Just off. My head tilted a second late. My mouth twitched when I hadn't smiled. I turned away again. Looked over my shoulder. The reflection stayed still. I stared at it, and it stared back, perfectly still now, watching me, like it had been caught doing something it wasn't supposed to. I backed out of the bathroom and radioed it in. Dispatch. This is County 9. I'm at the Riley residence. House appears unoccupied, but I need a second unit here. Something's not right. Dispatch responded. Copy, County 9. Second unit en route. ETA 12 minutes. I didn't want to be in that house. for another 12 minutes, but I had to be sure no one was inside. So I went back to the hallway and saw something that stopped me. Cold. The mirror at the end of the hallway. The tall one showed me standing in front of it. But I wasn't. I was 10 feet back. Yet there I was, in the glass, standing closer. Closer than I actually was. Facing the mirror. Staring at it. And I swear, hand to God, that version of me was smiling. Just a little. Just enough. I reached for my flashlight. Aimed it at the glass. My reflection didn't move. I blinked. And when I opened my eyes again, the reflection was back to normal, right where it should be. Expression neutral, but something had changed, because now I could see someone else in the reflection. Just behind my shoulder. Standing in the doorway to the bathroom. There was someone behind me. I didn't hear them. Didn't feel them. But in the reflection, just over my left shoulder, a figure was standing in the bathroom doorway. Tall, still, just out of focus. Like they belonged to another layer of reality the mirror was letting bleed through. I turned around. Fast. Nothing there. Hall was empty. Doorway clear, but when I turned back to the mirror, the figure was closer, still in the reflection. Now standing directly behind me. And this time, it wasn't blurry. It was me, not like me. Not a twin. Not an illusion. Me. Same uniform. Same badge. Same flashlight. Same tired eyes. But his expression, it wasn't fear. It was patience. Like he'd been waiting for something. I stepped back slowly. Watching the mirror, he didn't move. Not at first. But then, just as I passed the bedroom doorway, his head turned. Without my body moving at all. Just the head, watching me. And his mouth curled into a slow, wrong smile. I backed into the bedroom, breathing too fast. Trying to figure out if I'd lost it completely. PTSD? Fatigue? A gas leak? I reached for my radio again. Dispatch, County 9, requesting expedited backup. Possible psychological emergency. I think someone's in the house with me. Or in the mirrors. Silence. Then static. Then a voice. My voice. Help is already here. I dropped the radio, stumbled back into the bedroom. There was a full-length mirror across from the bed. And this time, the reflection was gone. No me. Just the room. Empty. But behind the glass, the air shimmered. Like heat rising off pavement. Like the mirror wasn't solid anymore. Like it had depth. I got closer. Against every instinct in my body. And then the reflection came back. Fast. I was standing there again. But he was smiling full now, teeth slightly too. Straight. Too many of them. And he lifted his hand. And so did mine, except my hand was still down. The mirror wasn't copying anymore. It was acting first. He pressed his hand to the glass. The surface rippled. Like water. I stepped back. Tripped over the edge of the rug. Hit the floor hard. The mirror version of me crouched down in perfect calm. Tilted his head. Then he spoke. It's warmer on this side. I scrambled up and ran out of the bedroom. Down the hall, flashlight swinging. Not caring if I looked insane. As I passed the living room, I saw every mirror in the house begin to ripple, all at once. The reflections inside weren't me anymore. Some were close. Some were younger. Some were wrong. Off by an inch. A scar that wasn't mine. Eyes that were too dark. One of them, in the mirror above the mantel, didn't have a face at all. Just a void, staring back. I bolted for the front door. It wouldn't open. Deadbolt stuck. I threw my shoulder into it. Once. Twice. Nothing. Then the TV came on behind. A need. Static. Then black. Then a recording of me. Standing in the hallway from moments ago. From inside the mirror. Watching. Frozen. Then the camera moved forward without me. As if the mirror was recording its own version of the house. Its own patrol. Its own shift. Turned back to the hallway mirror. My Reflection was gone again, just the hallway. Now empty. Then, slowly, he stepped back into frame. My double, but now, he was wearing my expression. Same fear, same confusion. He mimicked my movements, perfectly in sync. Then he stopped, stared at me. And his eyes rolled back in his head, just white, and the surface of the mirror bulged outward, like pressure building, like something was about to break through. I raised my flashlight and smashed it against the glass. The mirror cracked. Then cracked again, and then the reflection began to bleed. Not blood, something darker. Thicker. It oozed down the spider-webbed cracks like oil from a cracked engine. Behind it, I heard the other me scream. Not in pain. In rage, like I'd ruined something important. The bedroom light flicked on behind me. I turned. No one there. Just my own reflection in the closet door. But it wasn't me anymore. It was him. Still watching, still smiling. Backup finally arrived. 30 minutes later, they found me on the lawn, sitting in the grass, flashlight broken in one hand, the other bleeding from mirror shards. There was no one in the house. No broken glass. No mirrors, not a single one. Just clean patches on the walls where they had clearly once hung. Photos of them. 2 picture frames of the house from years ago. Every room filled with mirrors. I asked if anyone had recently removed them. The neighbor said there were never mirrors in that house. I requested a transfer 2 weeks later. Filed the report as a hallucination brought on by mold exposure. That's what the department wanted to hear. But I know what I saw. Because now, every time I walk by a mirror, I look twice. I never stand directly in front of them. Never brush my teeth in silence. Never turn my back on glass. Because one night, just last week, I passed by my bathroom mirror at 3:12 a.m., and in the corner of the reflection, he was still standing there. Same uniform, same badge. But this time, he wasn't smiling. He was reaching forward, like the glass was thinner now, like it was his turn.